Oh, he's going high elbow. Oh, 10 seconds. 10 seconds, short
into the
time.
crowd. He's got the guard closed.
Oh my God, he gets the tap. 6 seconds left. 6 seconds.
Rhea Fletcher. Lauren Barone on her feet.
She's got the money bag incoming.
The money tap.
Wow. Fletcher
Bottom man.
with 5 seconds.
What's up, YouTube? Connor from Submission Sensei here. For those of you that are new to the channel, we are an AI startup based out of the DC area. Our mission is to get you from white to blue belt as quickly as possible, harnessing the power of AI to put a black belt in your pocket. Today we are joined on the pod by Lauren Barone. Lauren is the owner of the Philadelphia Phenoms. We met her in Bethlehem, PA this Saturday, where they put on a fantastic event with the PGF. We'll link that in the description for you to check out. We had a great conversation with Lauren about acquiring the team, what makes the PGF so special, and got some great feedback on the app from her. We hope you'll enjoy this conversation.
Everyone, welcome to the Submission Sensei Radio. Super excited with us to have Lauren, the owner of the Philadelphia Phenoms. Yesterday, our team attended her amazing event in Philadelphia, and it was truly super captivating. The environment was electric. There was a snowstorm happening outside, and yet everyone was, there were probably 30, 40 people still, watching this amazing event take place. Lauren, why don't you give our audience just a quick overview of your background and how you got involved at the PGF and creating this amazing franchise?
For sure. So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who took the time, despite the inclement weather yesterday, to come and attend our very first ever event as the Philadelphia Phenoms, our qualifying tournament. A huge shout out to Jaden, who worked super hard to secure 5 wins in a little under 4.5 minutes and got all submissions in those wins. Super proud of him, and he seems pretty excited to be on his way to Vegas soon for the upcoming PGF draft. I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is creating opportunities for these athletes. And for myself, I started Jiu-Jitsu about 3 years ago. I grew up a WWE fan, watching wrestling, watching Ninja Turtles, and just that was kind of the bread and butter of my childhood. So I did a little bit of Taekwondo as well as a child. I grew up with a deep adoration and respect for martial arts. And as an adult, I really wanted to get back into martial arts somehow. I actually watched Hoist Gracie on TV, some of his old matches, and I just really admired the technique and style he used to defeat his opponents, no matter if they were smaller or larger. He was always calm and composed, and his technique went very well. So that kind of inspired me to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then I joined a gym and pretty much haven't looked back since then. Now, my husband, he watches a lot of different types of jiu-jitsu on YouTube. He came across the PGF actually and became a fan pretty quickly. So naturally, he brought me on to watching the PGF episodes. And I was like, wow, I really like this format. It's got a super unique style set and rule set. And it looks like a very sustainable platform in that there's a league with different franchises. And there are players, and even though there's individual matches, they're part of a team, which is something bigger than just having 1v1. So I really liked that concept. And as I became more of a fan, I started thinking, well, how can I become part of this wonderful league in some capacity? So I reached out to Brandon McCatherine, who is the commissioner of the PGF, and great guy, by the way. We discussed many things about the PGF, and I ended up boarding a plane to Vegas to try the live experience for myself, because at that point I was considering purchasing a franchise. Let me tell you, from start to finish, it was purely magical in front of the cameras as well as behind the scenes. Just the crew that put it together, the athletes who persevered, who came out with great attitudes and just worked so hard for that professional stage. And I knew that it was the right move for me to purchase my own franchise. So I did that, and then came the fun part. So, as a lover of all things sci fi, specifically classic sci fi TV shows and movies, I knew I had to incorporate that into the branding somehow. So, with a deep respect for the great city of Philadelphia, we wanted to use something that flowed well with that. So, I came up with UFO phenomenon, Philadelphia phenomenon. And I was like, that's great, but it still needs a little bit more work. We need to shorten that. And I was thinking, well, you could be a fan of sci-fi movies or TV shows anywhere in the world, not just the 215. So we ended up shortening it to Philadelphia Phenoms, lovingly known as Philly Phenoms. And it just flowed so well. And I was like, that's it. That's perfect. So hopefully this authenticity translates to the fans of the Philly Phenoms as a franchise.
That's such a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lauren. And as someone that is a huge sci-fi enthusiast myself, super into aliens, conspiracy theories, UFOs, I love the Philadelphia Phenoms branding so much. I think a lot of the folks that also attended the event, everyone was like pointing to the big sort of banner that was there. Like, doesn't that look so cool? So yeah, I mean, and I think you mentioned watching Hoist for the first time. I actually just rewatched a lot of his old UFC matches again, and I'm just so blown away by just the sheer excitement and action. I mean, he was subbing almost everyone. It was just so electric to watch. And I'm wondering if, for yourself as you build out your team roster for this year, what are some, qualities of the athletes that you're looking to draft? Like, what would that be? Obviously, Jaden, I mean, you mentioned, I mean, what an amazing athlete. What are the types of attributes you like to see in the Philly Phenoms roster?
Definitely. So I like to keep in mind that this is the big stage. They're getting a shot at the Professional Grappling Federation, which is the professional stage. So I look for professionalism and people, athletes that are ready for that pro stage. So being a team player is a huge part of it. Being able to work in a team environment, to get along with the other athletes on and off the mats, that's so important, as well as the athlete maintaining their own nutrition goals, fitness
Mhm.
goals, strength and training, as well as practicing jujitsu very regularly to stay in that professional athlete stage and be ready for those competition mats when the time comes.
No, I think you're so right. I mean, the amount of discipline level needed to kind of excel at this professional stage is just so incredible. We saw a lot of that on the mats on just yesterday. I mean, Jaden, I mean, took, what was it, four submissions, something like that, in what, like 4 minutes or something, 4 minutes of mat time, something like that, right?
Oh, Jaden did an exceptional job. He's a 10th Planet brown belt training out of 10th Planet Lombard. And he came in there with the energy, the focus, and the discipline, just like a pro athlete would on the professional stage in the PGF. He came in there and did 5 matches, secured 5 subs in under
Yeah.
4.5 minutes. And I was just taken aback at how professional he was and how well he did. And he seemed super humble as well. I actually talked to him for a little while after his big win. I presented the prizes to him. He got a pretty cool prize pack, I would say. He
I
got
agree.
$300. Thank you. He got $300 in cash. He got an official Philadelphia Phenoms rash guard. He got the coveted gold medal. And then a super rare spot in the PGF draft. So, really amazing prizes. He was very humble and seemed pretty excited to be headed toward Las Vegas for
Oh
season
my
9.
gosh. Yes, he was. He was super stoked. And I mean, he's I think only 19 years old, something like that. A true phenom indeed. Lauren, out of curiosity, like you mentioned part of the reason you got really interested in having a franchise was just the pure excitement of the PGF rule set. Could you help talk to me about what you think makes the PGF so exciting, what it gets right that maybe other tournaments or other events just simply don't?
Well, first of all, I think the PGF is built for longevity. I mean, the platform and the rule set, you have the chokes, kills, you get 6 points for that. You get 3 points for a break, a joint lock. So it's geared heavily toward rewarding those submissions, which creates a stage for a high energy, submission seeking environment. So those athletes are giving it their all. There's a need for constant action. And if there's not constant action, they'll get the shot clock thrown on them, which, you could get penalized for that. So you definitely don't want that. So the action to me is just superior with the rule set and the incentivizing moving around constantly. And then, as far as the league, how it's set up, there are different franchises with 5 players on each team. So it almost fosters a sense of community within each franchise. And that's one thing I hope that will happen within my own team once it's fully assembled, is that there will be a sense of community, a sense of friendship, even on and off the mats for those that are on the same team. And hopefully we'll secure the win for season 9.
Yes, Lord. Oh, that's awesome. As someone that was born in, not born, but raised in the East Coast in the DC area, it was really heartening for me to see a team based on the East Coast. So I'm just super stoked that you're going to continue to grow and as the PGF grows as well. Brandon, as you mentioned, so incredible to work with. We've partnered with him to bring Submission Sensei to life for a reason. He has such grand sort of visions for what the PGF could look like, right? Like legitimately being the NFL, the NBA of our sport. I'm wondering if you could just provide your perspective on this sort of team-based approach that PGF takes. You talked a little bit about it just now, how you hope that the athletes can kind of come together as a community. We think of jiu-jitsu as this sort of me versus the other person, the two of us facing it off alone on the mats, no one else, right?
Yeah.
But the PGF changes this dynamic, and I wonder if you could give your thoughts about how this team-based format might even change the way the athletes approach preparation, for example.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So for the PGF season 9, our debut season, we have selected Coach Chris Olivo to be our head coach. And Chris Olivo comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience within the PGF rule set. He has competed as a player successfully. He owns his own gym in Las Vegas, which he has generously offered to our players to practice that. So I'm hoping within those team training sessions, there will not only be some good practices, but also a sense of community that's fostered and some rapport within the organization itself. I also plan to do team dinners once a week to kind of help with that sense of community. And I think by doing those little things, it will definitely go a long way.
Yeah, I think you're so right. Like the real sort of like bonds that you create with people that you share time with in the mats. I mean, a lot of times, at least for me, I don't end up spending time with those same folks outside of the mats. But when I do, the 2 to 4 times, maybe, a month where we actually go and have a beer or have a dinner, when we come back to the mats the next day, it's like this really amazing thing. Like we've had shared experiences beyond just seeing you here every day, and the fact that you can kind of replicate that over the course of a season, it also makes it so, going into next season and frankly, for the rest of the athlete's career, they'll always have these bonds and memories to look back to, which I think is also really, really special. I guess, Lauren, you're an entrepreneur, started this franchise. We're a small startup, scrappy startup. And I don't know about you, but I had a lot of sort of fear and maybe sort of fear and maybe a little bit of anxiety with scaling something like this, something that really hasn't been done. And I'm wondering if you could just provide a bit of your, just business advice or wisdom for other folks. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that follow us. What sort of advice could you give them on just sort of navigating this unknown, maybe drawing from your lessons, starting this franchise?
Definitely. Well, with regard to conceptualizing my franchise and making it all happen and come together, I really pulled from things that I genuinely enjoy. Like, as someone who enjoys sci-fi and aliens, I wanted to tap into that and somehow create a brand where that authenticity translates to potential fans and people that will watch the PGF. So I drew from things that I like, and I kind of put it all together, building it brick by brick until it was a ready franchise. And it showed, you can see the logo on my shirt. It shows those aliens and the sci-fi in the background. And that's something that I enjoy. And I hope that others see that within my franchise, just adding the special elements and touches into that branding and a little bit of quirkiness as well.
No, I love that. And I think, a lot of my friends on the mat sort of, we share that sort of love for sci-fi, that sort of quirkiness. So I'm really glad that there's like a team out there that's like representing a lot of this stuff. And like, I don't know about you, but one of the things that I really, really like about just sort of our sport is its ability to bring like a lot of different types of people together. Like I've never, shot a gun in my life, right? But I'm literally rolling with people that, like whatever special forces, like, freaking snipers or whatever, right? Like all these like super badass people. And I think that's another reason why I'm just so, grateful for people like you that are really being pioneers in this sport to make the beauty of our sport known to the world. And I think that's a big it's a big thing that the PGF is really doing. It's kind of shining a light to getting people that maybe wouldn't be in our sport otherwise into the sport. And I'm wondering if you don't mind, sharing your thoughts on just, our maybe there are folks that have thought about training jujitsu, but there aren't, they're a little bit scared of the combat element to it. if you don't mind just sharing your perspective on why maybe they could consider just trying it out. It's such uh, um, a beautiful sport for everyone to enjoy.
Absolutely. At the heart of Jiu-Jitsu, absolutely anyone could be a fan. It doesn't matter how young or old you are or what type of lifestyle you have. Anyone, especially within my franchise, is welcome to be a fan of Jiu-Jitsu. And if that's your preference to just watch it, we welcome you 100%. If you're someone that wants to try to get into Jiu-Jitsu for whatever that reason may be, I can give a little bit of my own backstory. So when I started, I had multiple different goals. I wanted to achieve some weight loss. I wanted to learn some self-defense. And I was just motivated to do cool stuff. So
Yes.
through jujitsu, I have achieved all of those things. I have lost a good bit of weight. I have been doing cool stuff. So I would say on those very first few days during jujitsu, I was incredibly nervous. How would I fit in as a heavyweight female? And luckily, I had my husband attending classes and starting right alongside me. So, with that accountability partner, that certainly helped a lot. So, if you're out there listening, it definitely helps if you can kind of recruit someone who might be interested in doing jujitsu with you or training with you regularly. And then kind of I spread my wings after a while, feeling comfortable to go to classes by myself when needed and gaining that confidence. I waited about 1 year before I started competing in jiu-jitsu. One of my biggest fears was competing. The first time I stepped onto those competition mats, I was genuinely terrified. I didn't know what to expect. And you know what? I lost both of my matches. However, when it was all over, I thought to myself, okay, that was not so bad. And then I made a promise to myself that I would keep trying to conquer that fear until I was okay with competing. Last year, I competed between 10 and 12 times. I had
Wow.
lots of losses, but I had quite a few wins as well that were memorable. I worked hard for both, but at the end of the day, being more confident on those competition mats made it all worth it.
That's such a beautiful story, Lauren. Thank you so much for sharing that. Uh,
Thanks.
You're really inspiring me to compete again. It's been like probably a year, maybe more, and every time I look at smooth comp, I'm like, maybe, but also last time I got ankle locked like 3 times in a row. That was not fun. Maybe it was fun for the other person, but definitely not for me. But yeah, like now you're making me want to just sign up for a competition in February. So really appreciate that. So much of jujitsu, you're right, is just overcoming your own fear, right? Like your own sense of, hey, I might, what if I go out there and look bad or, lose horribly? But when you actually go out there, you end up being so proud of yourself for just getting out there and overcoming that fear. Um, I think there's a lot of that, going into the competition scene is kind of reflected in even the first few sort of days or weeks of training the sport at all, right? Because when you're going in as a white belt, you're going to get your butt kicked for, right? For like,
For sure.
whatever, 90 minutes. And, Lauren, you've played around with submissions. That's a little bit, we've shown you the demo. I'm just curious from your perspective, based on what you saw, how do you think this can help those folks that are maybe newer to the mat? They've tried training for a little bit. They just keep getting their butt whipped. Any sort of thoughts there on how Submission Sensei can help?
I really like the concept of submission sensei. It's got a simple, it's easy to use. All you have to do is type in the move that you're curious about, and it will generate a GIF. So not only are you seeing a demonstration, but you're also getting a text explanation of the move. And I like to keep things simple, and I'm a visual learner. So being able to read about the move as well as see it visually, that's something that comes together to help teach someone, no
Mhm.
matter what their skill level is. You could learn something if you're a brand new white belt, or if you're a seasoned black belt, just looking for a new move to learn. And I really like that. It's user friendly and easy to understand.
No, thanks so much, Lauren. And I think, the core problem that we were trying to solve here is this kind of the most well-kept secret in jiu-jitsu, which is in order to get good, you got to study outside the classroom, right? Like it seems like for me, like no one really talked about this when I was like a white belt, the first like year of training. It's like, wait, like people go on YouTube or BJJ Fanatics or all these websites to like learn how to do things. You got to ask your coach what's the response to this move. You can't expect to get as good as you are with just like attending class every single day, right? So like I'm wondering like when did you kind of make this connection? I mean, you've competed now 10 to 12 times. You must be pretty freaking good at grappling. So like I guess like yeah, when did you sort of make that connection that hey, maybe I can't just keep doing what the coach tells me to do for in class in order to get those goals hit those goals I'm seeking.
Absolutely. I think it dawned on me at some point, okay, hey, no matter if a person is a piano player, a tennis player, a wrestler, or a grappler, if I really want to progress and reach my own personal goals, the coach teaching me is just part of it. Me
Hmm.
learning things in class, that's just one segment of it. I'm going to have to study at home as well. So I recently got a set of mats at home, which I'm super thrilled
Yeah,
about.
let's
And
go.
myself and my husband, we bought a training dummy, so I think that's going to really help. So we have those two components to study at home, but having submission since AI, that will put the puzzle pieces together fully, because then we will have a training model. You can also look up viral YouTube moves, like say the Kosovo cradle. That one's really
Right.
popular right now. So, and someone hit that in the PGF qualifier for the Phenoms yesterday. That is a move I personally would like to learn. So I think I may make it a goal to type that into Submission Since AI to have it generate the GIF as well as explain it to me via text. I think that would be super cool. And I can totally see how integrating that app into my at home training would be super beneficial.
That's so awesome. Yeah, as soon as that happened, who was it? Jaden? Was it Jaden that did the Kosovo Quail? I don't remember. Do you remember who it was?
It may have been. It may
Yeah,
have
it may
been.
it may have been. Yeah, and I remember when that happened, I looked at like some person that I'd never met before this event, by the way. Talk about, creating social bonds. We looked at each other and we were like, can we drill that? Like what the heck just happened? Right?
Right.
And like and so we did some like experimenting tuning, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're like pretty much like breaking my spine with this thing. And then when on our car ride home, I told Connor and John on my team, I was like, hey, we got to add Kosovo Cradle to our technique library ASAP because this is just so cool. I can't wait to drill it. So yeah, to your point,
Right.
it is. Yeah, it's gonna be it's a constantly evolving. Our sport is constantly evolving, and um, the technique library that we have is constantly evolving. I like to tell folks that maybe they're just using our app for the first time is like, hey, this is the worst that AI is ever going to be. Like right now, like January 18th. So it's only going to get better. and it's already not too bad. So, yeah, no, really appreciate that sort of anecdote that you shared there, Lauren. Um, as we think about going into the draft, going into Vegas, what excites you most? I mean, as the owner of the team, you're going to be, drafting the athletes. You're going to facilitate these social bonds, and we're going to see it all. I think on online, and I'm super excited to see. I'll probably see you there in person in Vegas as well. But what
Oh,
excites you most?
nice. Okay, besides everything,
Yeah.
I'm excited for my upcoming trip to Las Vegas for the PGF Season 9 draft on February 4th. There's going to be, it's going to be an amazing turnout. The athletes are going to get drafted. There are going to be 3 players drafted to each team. They've already got their existing 2 reserve players. So Coach Chris Olivo is going to be out there. We're super excited for that. We've just put together an amazing squad so far. We have myself, my husband Joe Barone. We have Stephen Aiken as our general manager. We have Coach Chris Olivo. And then we have our 2 reserve players, Andrew Cockle, as well as Derek Rayfield. And I cannot wait to see who the 3 remaining players are. I think we're just going to assemble something fantastic. Aside from that, the PGF Season 9, it's just around the corner. I can't believe it was like the holidays happened, and now we're just right on the heels of the brand new season, the Philly Phenoms debut season. That runs from March 4th through April 8th. So I'm incredibly excited about that. Also, under the bright lights of Las Vegas. I happen to really like Las Vegas. I think it's a cool city with a lot of things to do. I'm kind of a foodie, so I like to try the different
Yes.
restaurants. The whole experience rolled together excites me, and I'm just counting down the days until this point, until it's time to go. So, getting really hyped for that. Can't wait to be on the white couches again, to see the team perform for the very first time. Just really going to be a great experience.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so awesome. And it's crazy to think, Lauren, this is going to be the first season for the Phenoms. Like there's going to be so many more. The team is going to grow, PGF is going to grow. The quality of the athletes is even going to grow, and it's already so high. I cannot wait to see what the Philly Phenoms can bring to the table this season and in the future. Lauren, I want to thank you for your time. I know we had some technical difficulties in the
That's
beginning.
okay.
Lauren, any sort of last sort of words you want to tell our audience? Maybe how can they support the Phenoms? Anything else you want to plug before we wrap up here?
Absolutely. So I would just like to give a special thanks and shout out to the PGF for coming to help make this qualifier come together and run so beautifully and smoothly. I want to thank Rose Hunter Productions, People Doing Martial Arts, Smash Pass Jay, as well as Sean, who are amazing commentators. I want to thank our
Oh,
very first signed athlete,
they were fantastic.
Andrew. Right. Thank you so much.
So good.
Our first signed athlete, Andrew Cockle, who came out, stayed the whole day, kind of watched the talent perform. I want to thank Commissioner Brandon McCatherine, BMAC, who is just fantastic all around. I would also like to thank my sponsors, Nomad Grappling Team and Zombie Sport Co., for always believing in me along the way. That's so important. I have a long list. Sorry. I want to thank my husband,
It's all
Joe.
good.
And if you would like to follow us on Instagram, just follow at Philly Phenoms. That's our handle. If you would like to follow me as an athlete and watch my journey unfold, at Thick Girl Jiu-Jitsu. Additionally, I have began a new podcast called Phenom Spam. You can reach that at www.patreon.com/PhillyPhenoms. It's going to be a segment of that webpage with monthly podcasts. We're kind of just getting started. We appreciate the support, and the Phenoms are currently open to partnerships. So if you're interested in maybe having your logo featured on our team uniforms or something like that, please reach out to us via Instagram. Sid, thank you so much. I think
Thank
you
you.
have a great app going, and I cannot wait to use it on my at-home mats with my husband. And I'm just really excited for you guys.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Very grateful for you. Also, shout out to Stephen Aiken. I mean, the legend he is. We didn't even talk about that. He's a newly announced GM. Such an amazing dude, such an amazing
Amazing.
athlete. I think that's such a great fit and a great hire. Like he's gonna kick some major ass again. So yeah, yeah. Thanks so much, Lauren, for your time. Super excited to see you in Vegas pretty soon. It's gonna be a blast.
I can't wait. We got to get some selfie photo ops.
Boom. Done. Awesome. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that conversation, please consider liking and subscribing to support the channel. Check out what we're building. Click the link in the description. It'll take you right to the App Store so you can play around with our app. If you've had the chance to play around with the app and have any feedback for us, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.